welcome to another Lightning Ventures founder interview. I am lucky here today. I am with Tom from Satsback.com, and I realized that we never actually talk about why we do these. We do these to get to know and showcase the founders from companies that we're investing in through our Lightning Ventures fund and our amazing syndicate. And if you want to learn more about investing in amazing Bitcoin companies, you should check it out at ltng.ventures. Okay, we are here with Tom from satsback.com. So cool, so fun. We all love earning sats back, whether it's through credit cards, debit cards, purchases, however you can game the system to earn sats back. Tom has been building satsback.com, which is super cool, and we're going to dig in pretty deep here. How are you today, Tom?
I'm great, Mike. Thanks for having me.
All right. Tom is in Poland. And how do you pronounce your last name?
Yeah, it's difficult. It's Chojnacki. So the C is like a silent, the J is like an I, and the CK is like an. You don't need to worry about it. Just Tom is good, and I actually don't mind people butchering my name, my last name. I'm used to it. They say Chojnacki, right? So because that's how you would pronounce it in English, but it's fine.
All right. Well, either way, we got Satsback Tom here with us. All right. So let's start at the very beginning. Why did you start this company? And in your own words, can you give us just a 30,000 foot overview on what you're out and doing?
Yeah, for sure. So it started as, I guess, many startups do, wanting to scratch your own itch, right? So we're Bitcoiners based in Europe, and we wanted to earn sats when shopping online. It was 2019 when we first started thinking about it. We launched in 2020, and by that time there were like many services in the States that were doing similar things, like Lolli and Fold were just starting out, and they were getting traction, but there was no love for us in Europe. So we decided to build it. We did a bunch of research. We looked for the right team, and we launched eventually in 2020. Doing our research, we realized there's this massive cashback industry that is, I like to call it fiat back, right? There's a lot of people looking for deals online that want to save when they shop online, and it's like $100 billion industry globally, of users just getting a small percentage back when they shop online. And as Bitcoiners, we realize there's no better savings technology than Bitcoin, and it's just a no-brainer that sooner or later Bitcoin is going to eat that whole industry, and grow it, if you only look at cashback. So that was a kind of easy way to start and test out the demand for this in Europe. So I initially launched Satsback in Poland, and shortly after joined forces with our co-founder and CTO Leon, who's another great Bitcoiner in the Netherlands. He was doing something similar in the Netherlands. We decided to join forces, and the effect of that is the current platform, which is the V2, that is now live in most European countries. I mean, it's live for everyone, but there's a focus in certain European countries. So you'll find like a few hundred stores as a US user, but it's mostly focused for EU markets for now. And we're looking forward to expand that.
So the geography is important, and I wanted to get the distinction between you were in Europe and Lolli was unavailable to you. Is that how that works?
Yeah, exactly. Many of these Bitcoin reward companies are limited to the US. I guess it's a big enough market for to just focus on there. And the market for cashback and rewards generally in the US is is so big that it's enough for a startup to focus on the US and look at these other areas at a later stage. And yeah, we didn't want to wait until someone like Lolli expands to Europe, so we just decided and build Satsback ourselves.
So are there places that you are not going to operate? Right now, do you have to go country by country? How does that work? How can you expand?
Yeah, so we don't restrict users geographically. It's just that the way these deals work, if you look at someone like Nike, we have Nike connected for many European countries, but actually Nike has a separate program for each country. So this might be, at least in Europe, might be somewhat confusing for someone in the US, where you have states, but it's still the United States. And if you launch in the US, you're everywhere, maybe apart from like New York with their bit license. But in Europe, these are like separate fragmented markets. So it's a lot more difficult for someone to just say, oh, we're launching in Europe. Many of these markets have different e-commerce leaders, and they're just very different culturally, but as well, like on the e-commerce side, it's a lot more fragmented. So our main goal for this year was to expand to more of these European countries first, because that's where we saw the biggest opportunity, because there was no one else doing it. And that's what we did. And we've we witnessed a lot of demand and a lot of interest in these areas here, because we were first to market in many of those places.
So this is a really scalable business, and a really cool business, and a really fun business. So 0 to 1, how did you get to here? And you actually have some pretty impressive revenue and traction and growth. So when was the first month that you had revenue, and how has it grown to now? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, 80% of your volume and users right now are in Poland, probably because you have not even scratched the surface of advertising.
Sorry, not in Poland. 80% would be in Poland and the Netherlands.
Poland and the Netherlands.
Because we joined forces with Stacking, that startup I told you about, that we merged with. And Stacking, and Leon is from the Netherlands, so he did a great job of getting a community there. So it's mixed between Poland and the Netherlands for now, but we've just actually, we haven't announced this yet, but we're in the middle of, I think, the last phases of testing Spain, Italy, and Norway, which are huge markets, obviously, and we'll need to do a better job at like marketing, or at least letting people know that we're aware there, that we exist, and that we have all of these stores connected in these countries. But yeah, the first months were summer of 2020, where I launched in Poland, and Leon launched actually slightly sooner, so it was like April or May of that same year, and we kind of ran things independently as two separate platforms. We kept in touch, and then eventually decided to join forces and build out what you see now as the second version of Satsback, which has combined the kind of partnerships that we have independently secured, are all now under one satsback.com that you see today.
So Spain and Italy.
And Norway.
Spain and Italy are coming soon?
Yeah, well, yeah. Like the next week, I think we'll announce that. And currently we have the UK, France, the Netherlands, Germany, Belgium, and Poland obviously covered. So yeah, that together with Spain, Italy, and Norway, that will be a big chunk of the Western and Central European market. But there's also, a ton of stores like partners like booking.com that is available for everyone, and pretty much a lot of people use it, as well as like something like AliExpress, people like that as well. And those aren't limited to like specific countries. So anyone can log in, and like, even if they're in something like the Czech Republic or Slovakia, they can still log in and take advantage of a lot of those deals. But you asked about growth. So we've been happy to see, especially because our current growth, we haven't really invested much into marketing, which is something we want to change. But until now, it's been pretty much organic and word of mouth and referrals. So we haven't really invested much into marketing, and this kind of made us realize that we're onto something, since we're growing organically and doing significant volumes in terms of sales for our partners. Then there must be a demand for, for us. I mean, it was, for Bitcoiners, it's kind of a no-brainer, right? Like, you get sats for shopping online that you would do anyway. And especially during the pandemic, it was like most people did all of their shopping online, right? So like food deliveries, and we have a bunch of these most popular food delivery apps, like Takeaway. I guess in the US it's called the company that does food deliveries. There's a bunch. There's obviously Uber Eats, but I think there's something called Grubhub, or I think it's the same company, right? So we have those, and those are super fun, because something I didn't mention initially, maybe something that's not obvious, is we launched as a Lightning native company. So we, from day one, had withdrawals over the Lightning network using the LN URL withdrawal protocol that made it super easy for someone to, earn some sats by ordering lunch online. And then a few days later, because there's no returns on food delivery, they get their order approved, and they can withdraw the however many sats that they got for that order to their Lightning wallet with no minimum amounts, and they could like instantly withdraw and experience the magic of Lightning. Yeah, we tend, like, we keep underlining this fact that what we're doing is like helping people experience Bitcoin and Lightning. I think that's very important, because you could explain to someone all day, tell them about how Bitcoin works, all the intricacies, but they really need to experience it, right? It's like, don't tell me how Bitcoin works, show me.
So Lolli, with the referrals, I don't know even how many people I sent that to. When Lolli came out to get that $5, which is probably a pretty hefty price to acquire people and get them hooked. So I know that you have a referral program now. I'm not sure if that's going to be a major part of how you're going to go out and get users. I know I've sent the link. I hopefully a few people have signed up. But how is that going to be a strategy, and what are you gonna really do to go out and get people installing it?
Yeah, so definitely we want to focus on that. I mean, we have the current referral program. It's just we're not giving out sats for new people that sign up. It's just like, if you refer your friend, then you earn a portion of their rewards in the future for a whole year. But they get nothing for signing up. It's just because, yeah, we didn't have much of a budget for marketing. We were focused on the product, but we do think it's important to, maybe not $5 or $10, but it's important to give out like some amount of sats for the new people to sign up. And that's what we want to do after we raise a seed round. But yeah, I like the idea of, especially with Bitcoin and Lightning, we can, instead of, paying platforms like Google or Facebook for ads, we could, and it is a tried and tested method of acquiring users, is just giving them out some free sats to start. And we really want to focus on that before we go on to the other paid advertising strategies.
So this morning I went to GoDaddy and I was gonna purchase a domain, and immediately two things popped up. My Lolli
Oh no.
popped up and my
Oh,
Satsback.com
sweet.
both popped up. And guess who was paying a better reward?
I don't know. You tell
You,
me. Oh,
Satsback.
amazing.
Yeah, it
I
was a couple
wasn't.
percentage higher actually.
Okay.
And I'm not sure how a lot of those partnerships work. But I want to stress the fact that, you know, before you had Honey and Rakuten and Capital One has one, and all of these things in your browser extension, right? You might use multiple ones when you're shopping. Like for example, I went to adobe.com to renew a
Mm,
subscription, and Satsback had a deal at Adobe and Lolli didn't. So
mm.
I just want to stress to some people thinking, you know, how could this compete with Lolli? I think it's a compliment. I think that a lot of people are going to be um, in this area. So what do you think about all that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that we're so much into Lightning gives us an advantage as well. I don't think Lolli is doing much with Lightning, um, and you know, like Lightning gives us so many possibilities. Like just recently, we've gone live with automatic payouts to your Lightning address. So you could go into your wallet of Satoshi, find your Lightning address, put that into your Satsback account, and then we're completely eliminating the payout process. So whenever your GoDaddy order gets approved, you just get a push notification on your wallet of Satoshi or whatever you're using. And we think that's that's an exciting thing for Bitcoiners, because it really showcases what's possible with Lightning and these kind of streaming micro rewards, right? Yeah, we don't really see other companies doing Bitcoin rewards as like direct competitors. I mean, for one thing, we're sort of focused on Europe for now, but like that's not to say that we're not going to launch in the US soon. Is paying out on Bitcoin and Lightning makes that a lot easier for us, because we don't have to deal with the banking relationships in the US or like PayPal or anything else. But the way we look at it is the whole market for cashback and loyalty rewards is so big. Like I mentioned, it's like 100 to $200 billion globally, and Bitcoin rewards we're still like a drop in the ocean, right? So at least from the feeling I get when speaking to people like, the Bitcoin company is that they'd much rather work together to see how we can complement each other, and maybe cooperate. And we kind of see each other as like, we're in the same boat, like rising tide lifts all boats. So yeah, that's the way we look at it. Like we're out there to eat the wider global rewards industry, and I think yeah, I think we could do it together.
So yeah, the overall industry, Ebates, it's says 10 million users here.
In the
Rakuten
US
as
alone,
well.
right?
That's a lot,
Yeah, I guess it's called Rakuten now, which is
which is a terrible name, is what it is.
it's a Japanese company, right?
Yeah. Okay, so what about the traction? Because this is pretty impressive. So March was the best month ever until April, right? April was now, I think, maybe your best month ever.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. April definitely was, especially in terms of revenue, because we got a bunch of orders with a higher than usual take rate. But yeah, but in terms of GMV and revenue, we're almost beating records every month, and we obviously think that we could do a lot better with just some marketing, and we're confident that we can. But yeah, we're trending up. So Yeah, it's almost we're almost used to breaking records every month or every quarter, but I guess that's easier when it's just starting out. What I'm most excited about, actually, if I may, Mike, is through our conversations with like wallets and neobanks, we've realized that there's a big demand for these companies and these wallets to offer Bitcoin rewards to their users. So we're right now we're actively speaking with some large apps and neobanks and Bitcoin and Lightning wallets to integrate Satsback into their kind of marketplace. You could say, like, if you go on Blue Wallet and you click on the marketplace, you will see Satsback there. And we actually get a lot of traffic from Blue Wallet. So the idea is to integrate with more wallets like that who already have a very high, or like a, let's say, a high large user base. And with like one integration like that, we're speaking with one neobank who has like millions of users, and they're super interested in, they already have like a Bitcoin savings product, and they're super interested in offering their users rewards when they shop. So we're thinking like another approach that we're taking is we're still going to focus on the B2C side of things, but the B2B kind of integrations that I'm talking about could result in like a massive spike in revenue, because with one single integration like that, we suddenly have access to millions of users, which I think is the strategy that Dosh in the States took when it comes to cashback. They were also like this. They also had this SDK for banks to use their rewards concurrently with their own like B2C app. So this kind of naturally came out from conversations with other Bitcoin Lightning wallets, as well as like neobanks. And I'm kind of most excited about that.
So it's a marketplace, you need the users, which is awesome with
Exactly.
those integrations, and those eyeballs
Yeah. So
from the wallets.
we kind of solved the supply side of the marketplace. Now we need to work on the demand side, and yeah, these types of business development strategies will definitely help.
So as far as the merchants go, and how, I mean, if we're talking about competitors with stuff like this, Smiles Bitcoin, I don't think anyone uses it for shopping, but I know they have a small amount of rewards there. It's certainly not in a browser, which is the most convenient. Lolli, and then the traditional ones. How do you add a ton of merchants at one clip, right? How do you go on and bring in 400, 300?
Yeah, so we're pretty transparent with this, that we we do work with individual stores and connect them directly, but for the most part, most of the it'd be hard to say that currently we have over 10,000 merchants connected. I'd be lying if I said that I went and secured these deals individually. Like, that wouldn't be possible with our small team. So we connect to large advertising networks that have these partnerships with someone like Booking, for example. Like, Booking wouldn't want to speak to, well, Booking just works with one network, and then that network handles their like reward, cashback, advertising partnerships. So we connect to these large global advertising networks, and those networks then give us access to these deals that they already have. So that's an easy. That's a kind of it was useful for us because we solved the chicken and egg problem of how do you get users if you have no partners, and then how do you get partners if you have no users. So at least the supply side is solved by these integrations with these large global advertising networks. Like, we're not connected with someone like Rakuten, but they're actually a large network, right? Yeah.
Really cool. I was actually just gonna pull up the GoDaddy and screen share it and
Yeah, I
show you
think
that.
yeah, awesome. I like I think I like Namecheap more. I mean, for one thing, they accept Bitcoin. I'm not sure if over Lightning, but those are nice examples because they actually um, they they're able to offer a lot higher reward. It's like software domain registrars, companies. They have us you know, it's like a, I guess their margins are quite high, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna put my edit guy to the test here and try this and see what happens. So this is both browser extensions. I just pulled it up 3 times. It's interesting that on every site they can work in tandem, and I just see this as the most effective way to.
I think if you're already, sorry, I think the way,
It's
if you
so
already
weird though.
clicked on, if you're already activated on GoDaddy,
Okay, so there's
oh yeah, there you go.
Satsback 5 to 7.5. Okay.
Yeah.
But see, here's the problem with Lolli. It's something a lot of times it doesn't wake up. It doesn't alert you. It does a
Mm.
thing here, but it doesn't always pop out. And as you see, Lolli is up to 4.5, you
Okay.
know?
Yeah, that would vary, like depending on the deal they have, and I guess, you know, Lolli is a bit further in on their journey than us. I think they recently raised a big Series A round, so they're actually able to. So the way we would look at this is we would almost the rewards, the kind of commission that we get from the partners, we convert that to Bitcoin, and then we'd share that with users, right?
So can I cut you off? Because this is a
Yeah.
question I think everyone has, right? Anyone who's played with this stuff has this question. So how is it activate between 4.17 and 42 and a
Yeah.
half percent? That
That's
is a freaking
that's
wild
yeah, that's
swing, man. I
yeah.
mean,
We need to, because like if you go into satsback.com and you search Adobe, you're going to see the details of this program. And um it's not because we want to make it confusing, but it's because Adobe says like, hey, depending on what, I think you just need to go to stores, you might see that. If you search in Adobe, they're depending on what you buy from them, you get a different deal, right? So if you're
look at that. I referred 2 users. What did I get for that?
you'd yeah, I don't think they've done a transaction yet, because so you'd normally see the history
Very
of the
cool.
transactions that they, but whenever they buy something, you're going to get some sats as well. But yeah, it just varies on what you're, like the category that you're buying, right? So if it's, I don't know if Adobe sells any physical things, but that would
So are
be,
these different contracted amounts?
yeah.
Like how does this work, right? I mean,
Yeah, so we generally pay half of the commission that we get. So we also wanted to, you know, as we didn't raise that much money, we figured that, you know, we're gonna keep some of the commissions to you know, just to grow, and you know, many of these companies, like maybe Lolli is, you know, raised a lot more, and they're able to offer a much larger percentage of the commission
so
that they negotiated, as well as the fact that, you know, maybe they're, I would I would assume Lolli is doing a lot more volume than us, and they're able to go up to Booking or to whoever's gave them access to that deal, and say like, look, we've done, you know, millions of transactions, millions of dollars worth of transactions for you. Can you give us a higher percentage deal, right? And that's something they would be able to do based on the. So there is a kind of network effect in place. Like the more users you have, the better deals you can get. Yeah, but it's generally, yeah, and then obviously, like after we raise the seed round, we'll be able to increase these rewards up to, you know, 60 or 70% of what we earn.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, but for software like this is
But I mean, but like
generally a lot higher.
it's really cool. I mean, look, we're obsessed with Satsback, right? You know, you use tools like this, you layer it on top of like a Bitcoin rewards credit card, you know what I mean? And you just gamify the whole thing, right? Um,
Yeah.
and all
That's
of
the
these
idea, right?
things.
Spend fiat and earn Bitcoin. Um,
This is really mining Bitcoin right here. Just
yeah.
incorporate this in your life, and
And
it works.
yeah, and what you mentioned, like a lot of our users would do that. They would use a credit card to get like some Bitcoin rewards, and then on top of that, use us to get higher rewards, because the credit card wouldn't usually give you higher than like 2 or 3%, right? Because
Mhm.
they're usually basing that on the interchange fee. I just saw your interview with the founder of Bold, right? So that's how they make money, is the interchange fee on transactions, and those aren't usually higher than 2 or 3%, right? So for someone like, if you're like a Bold user, or if you have a card that where you get rewards in Bitcoin,
Right.
then you could use that card with us and get additional, right?
Right. And we've been doing this a while. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of times you get 10% cash back on a nice order of chicken through Grubhub or something here. And it just takes that 10x move. And that chicken is free now. And my friends and I have been screwing with this stuff for a long time, layering them on top of each other, from whatever it is. You
Yeah,
need a
that's the unique value proposition, that's the magic of Bitcoin, right? Because this is what, and our early users have experienced this. They've started using us since we launched. So 2020 price of Bitcoin was around, I don't know, 60 to 8,000. All of a sudden it's 50, and now it's like the few percent that you got back in Bitcoin is almost paying for like half of what you bought. So I think it's like, yeah, it's fun, but at the same time, these sats do add up, and it's good to hold them. I mean, it's good to experience the Lightning Network and like use it, but yeah, some of our users have actually earned a lot, and because the price of Bitcoin went up, the
So
savings
how
can be
often do these
substantial.
change? How often do these change? These
These
deals in the amounts and like this
Yeah, so
contract. Well, does this go up or down?
yeah, so I think with Namecheap it wouldn't go down that much, because it's, again, their cost basis and their margins are pretty high. So it's we could probably increase that slightly, or if we get more volume, we could negotiate with them. It's a lot easier to I guess negotiate with companies like this, because they're high margin, right? With
I'm just
someone like
illustrating
Booking,
it
it's a
here.
bit.
There is a lot of merchants that are not on Lolli or in other platforms. And I see you have to use them both. You have to use them all, right? And the deals change. I mean, I'm just amazed at some of the ones that is not yet in some in Lolli. This is great. There's so many here. Sorry, I might be boring you, but
No,
all right,
it's
let
all
me. All
good.
right, so I'm talking over you because I'm too excited. Listen, I'm a big Satsback guy. Okay, we love this crap. I have questions for you here. So, is there a max on the amount that you can get from one single transaction? Like sometimes, when you're playing around with Lolli, it'll be like up to X amount of dollars. How does that work?
Yeah, we do have something that is, I don't think anyone would ever reach that, but it's like there is a max per single transaction of a couple of thousand euros. For us, is just we've done that for the purposes of, just like regulators trying to say that crypto can be used for money laundering. So it's like per transaction, but I don't. It'd be tough to get that kind of Satsback amount. You'd have to I don't know, book a holiday around the world to with booking or something like that. But yeah, there's usually limits in place just to go tell the regulators, look, we have something in place and we're keeping an eye on things. It would be, yeah, but I mean, it would be really hard for someone to launder money through a service like us or a Lolli. So we're like, when you look at Bitcoin, we're a very low risk business model, right? Because we don't really accept money from users. We just send them out small Satoshi rewards.
But on a single transaction, like if the reward was a $30 or $40 reward for a large purchase, they will extend that high, right?
Oh, of course.
Like
Yeah,
for
of
a
course.
long hotel stay on
Oh,
booking,
definitely.
or
Yeah. We've had records of like I forget what it is now, but there's been people that have from a single transaction been on our Telegram channel, which you should join, have been bragging about like earning something like 500 euros in Sats for a single transaction. Like there's people that buy a lot. I don't know, for like their offices or like some furniture. Like there's like whenever you're doing a big purchase, it's good to do your research and see like if you know if what you're looking for is on a Satsback platform like ours, because these rewards can be substantial, especially at today's prices, right? Sats are cheap, so you should stack harder.
so let's talk about the possibility of an app and maybe the future and big picture of satsback.com and kind of some other things, whatever you're comfortable with talking about other ways that other things that you're going to incorporate here.
Yeah, definitely. So we know an app is a must have, and we've started planning for this, and might be early next year that we launch a beta version. So that's a must have. Like we see many of our users are mobile users, so we need to have that. But as well as like we realize there's a lot of demand for offline rewards. So right now our users need to be online to shop. But if we have a deal with someone like Sephora here, then if you go into a Sephora physical brick and mortar store, you're not going to get that same Satsback deal. So we're one of the partners that we're working with will enable us to do like card linked offers, where instead of launching our own card that you see many of nowadays, you'll have the option of linking your current debit card to the mobile app once we have it, and then when you go inside a Sephora store, you'll be able to earn Sats as well. So the goal is just to enable our users to earn Sats on everything they buy, and get the best deal possible. And doing this with card linked rewards for us, I think will be the most cost effective, instead of sending out cards. I don't know if people need another card, but I think they'll be happy to link a card that they already have to an app to get more rewards when they're offline inside a store. So that's something we're really excited about. But something I already mentioned with the integrations with other wallets and neobanks, that could really accelerate our growth. And we're already having those discussions, and they will start testing our API. And then there's something in Q3 that I've listed here is we want to integrate with e-commerce platforms like Shopify and Magento to let smaller stores take advantage of and easily connect to our sort of own network, where if you're a Bitcoiner and you have a store built on Shopify, you'll be able to, with a few clicks, participate in Satsback and take advantage of the user base that we have, that is super excited about earning Sats, and they'll specifically look for businesses that are giving them Sats back when making their shopping decisions. So that's some of the things that we're most excited about for this year. But yeah, the goal is just yeah.
So how would that work with the Shopify integration? Does Shopify then get a percentage of your revenue? Do they then are they driving you traffic in there? How are they being compensated?
So it would be just like any other extension that you have on Shopify. So as far as I know, when you build a store on Shopify, you have a bunch of add-ons that you could purchase and just add easily to your, whether it is like a checkout plugin or whether it is like whatever you want to add to your store. And we'd kind of be another plugin that would make it easy for you to add your store to satsback.com and take advantage of those users. I haven't looked into detail, like if we'd need to pay a commission to Shopify. I think we might have to, but I think the market there is so big, like with so many stores built on Shopify and these other platforms, that it would make sense, especially because, like, personally for me, I'm most excited about helping like the smaller stores and like the medium-sized stores, because Amazon gets enough business, like booking.com gets enough business, but I'd like to potentially help the Bitcoiner guy that's shipping like good quality steaks across Europe, and he most likely has a e-commerce store built on one of these platforms. So giving him the an easy ability to connect with us is like one of our goals.
All right, so let's talk now about every Bitcoiner out there who has their own business and wants to partner with you. How then does a small Bitcoin, let's say Foundation Devices, right? Great hardware wallet. Let's say that they reach out to you and they want to partner. How does that integration work? Like how involved is that? Like how quickly can people flood you right now from the Bitcoin community that want to sign up and become partners with you? How quickly can they be onboarded?
Yeah, so it's this is something we want to work on as well. It's in our roadmap to make this easier. For now, it's a pretty manual process, and it requires some manual work. So we wouldn't be able to handle like 1,000 stores that were interested all of a sudden. And part of that would be like integrations with these e-commerce platforms. But someone like Foundation Devices, maybe they have their own store that they built themselves. So part of the plan to part of that become your own network plan is to create an easy tool for someone like you mentioned to connect to us, and that's something we don't have yet. Where it's just something we're planning to do this year as well.
Okay, so I don't know if anyone's going to listen to this, but I have to ask all these questions. All right.
There's a lot of people that listen to your videos.
I'll put Toshi to the test on the editing. We'll see what happens. But seriously, I have to ask you, okay, let's say you take a Start9. Okay. Start9 comes to you. They say, hey, we want to be a partner, right? Whatever their deal is with Fold, right? Whatever that is, let's say it's the same thing. Let's say it's like a 7% or whatever percentage. How does that split work? How does that process work?
I think Fold is on a bit of a different model. So Fold, from what I understand, does most of the rewards from the interchange fee as well as from selling prepaid vouchers. So I don't think they'll do something like that with, they could still offer a deal with Foundation Devices. What I'm thinking, and like in a hyper Bitcoinized future, you can expect all businesses to be accepting Bitcoin, right? Right now, I guess an easy way for a Bitcoin business or a business accepting Bitcoin is to just offer a discount when someone pays with Bitcoin. Like you've seen that with conferences and with stores online, like, hey, you get a 10% discount. So effectively, it's the same thing. Like you're still getting a better deal as a Bitcoiner paying in Bitcoin is just like, we think that, not everyone has Bitcoin yet. And at its current stage of monetization, it makes more sense to save Bitcoin. Like, I don't like spending my Bitcoin. But definitely, any business that's selling anything could integrate with us and take advantage of this, potentially lower customer acquisition cost, because we bring the customer to them, right? So we have a bunch of users. We're going to have more that are, interested in earning sats, and these businesses, if they're targeting that same kind of user, it would be a good fit, right?
Yeah.
And I think, even when all businesses online are accepting Bitcoin, there's still going to be Satsback platforms, just as there are cashback platforms when businesses are accepting fiat now, right? So it's just, I would argue that the only loyalty platforms left will be Bitcoin rewards, right? Because everything else doesn't make sense. Like, what sense does it make to stack points or airline miles when they expire and like, yeah.
So we have a GMV, you said, of 200K.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
almost 200. I think it would go up to 200K in dollars, because we calculate our GMV in euros, right?
Okay. It's a 5% take, right? So that's a 10K revenue, right?
Approximately.
Okay. Here's what's amazing about Tom and how he's running his business. He's not burning a ton of cash. You're running a really lean team, and you're burning less than 5K a month. Can you talk about what your expenses are? I mean, you're not taking a salary, right, at this point?
No, we are paying ourselves a small salary. Yeah, I mean, this is what we're focused on. Is we're dedicated to. So we are, but it's a small salary. The fact that I'm in Central Europe or in Poland, my cost of living is a lot lower, so I don't have to pay myself a high salary. But we are paying ourselves a little. Definitely underpaying ourselves. Maybe this is something we could change in the future. But I mean, it's an investment for us as well, like, right? Like, I mean, doing something that we're so passionate about is a payment in its own. I'd rather, I'd do this for free. So it's like, yeah, we're running lean. Like, we don't need to pay ourselves. Like, it would be nice to DCA more Bitcoin, to save more. But as Bitcoiners as well, we're frugal, right? We're not overspending. We haven't raised more than we need. We're also not planning to raise more than we need. And yeah, like, we see this as an investment in ourselves, and we believe that we're doing something important for the world. So that's a great compensation in itself.
All right. So
I mean, yeah, a big part of it is like we are a fully remote team, and we don't have an office. And we were used to working remote before the pandemic. So yeah, we don't need an office, and it's just, yeah, it's a pretty lean business model. And it's really scalable, right? I mean, yeah, we do need that 10x in users and 10x in GMV that I think we could do relatively easily. But yeah, it's scalable. Like, we could easily onboard like a million users, right? And that would just, our GMV would go up, and we wouldn't need to hire that many more people.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Let's say that someone wants to go to one of these big platforms, right? We had some big exits. And I'm going to say 10%, right? I want to offer 10% back through the platform. Is there a hard line on how that revenue splits? Because
Sorry,
me as my business, I want to get the eyeballs, I want to participate, but I'm giving up 10%. How does that work?
sorry, you mean in terms of partners or merchants that are listed on our platform, or sorry, I
Yeah,
didn't understand.
from a merchant's perspective, why does he want to be on satsback.com? If
Yeah,
I'm a merchant,
so
why do I want to be in this browser? Why
yeah,
do I
yeah,
want to do
so
this?
yeah, so every business online has a cost to acquire a customer, right? And they would do advertising, either online or like on Google or on TV or whatever it is. There is a cost to acquire a user. Our value, our kind of selling point to the merchant is that, hey, we have that user and we're going to bring him directly to you and he's ready to buy something. And this isn't a guy you're going to reach on TV. Like, he doesn't watch ads, he doesn't search on Google, he goes on Satsback when he wants to buy something, right? And they say, okay, fine, that's a good deal, right? Like, we're going to give you a 5 or 10% or 20%, because they know that a user coming from us is going to buy more on average, is going to convert better than their other users, and is going to return quicker. So actually, when they're looking at the metrics of purchasing behavior of typical cashback users, and especially Bitcoin rewards users, they're going to buy a lot more, right? They're going to return quicker. Every kind of most clicks that would come from us to a someone like, let's say, Namecheap or GoDaddy would usually, or like a large percentage of them would convert into a sale. So for these platforms, it's a good deal, right? I mean, they still pay, like, if when they advertise and they get their users from Google, they would have to pay Google similar commission, right? Or anyone else. So for them, it's a similar deal. Like, they're just paying to acquire a new user. We like to say that it's a incremental user. So it's a user that maybe wouldn't have shopped with them otherwise. And yeah, and they're just happy to give us a deal. I mean, and they would need to agree to the cashback business model, that part of the commission that they pay us is used to reward the user. So they know, and this is a tried and tested method. Like, in terms of the business model, we haven't really, we're not reinventing the wheel, right? This is, like, as you noticed, there have been massive exits in companies that are doing similar things. We're just innovating on the savings technology side, right? And any Bitcoiner will tell you that, Bitcoin is at least a 10x improvement or 100x improvement compared to fiat, right? So yeah, for us, it's a no-brainer. For many Bitcoiners as well. And I think that's maybe a reason why you're seeing this kind of organic growth with companies that are building these types of solutions.
All right, so that is a call of action. That is a challenge for any awesome Bitcoin company who wants to integrate with Satsback. Let's go. Let's see if we can get a bunch of rad people on there. Okay, very cool. So I think that's it. It's really cool talking to you. This is a huge space. I've got both of them running on my computer here, and I'm loving it. And I don't know, congratulations, man.
Thanks a lot, Mike. This is a lot of fun.
We should touch real quick on the amazing investors who've already invested in your company previously, right?
Yeah,
Fulgur.
so one of them you'll definitely be familiar with. So Fulgur Ventures with Oleg, he's great. Fulmo Lightning came on as an early angel investor. And then we have Han, that you might know, Han Hua, with his syndicate that came on at a later stage. and a bunch of other angels that you might not be familiar with, but they've been great as well. So yeah, we've been really lucky with our group of early investors, and yeah, we're kind of, maybe this isn't a great thing, but we're really selective with who we speak with, because we want to make sure, especially that like an early stage, that we have investors that align with our values and our vision, which is like one of the reasons we reached out to you and other Bitcoiner investors.
Awesome. All right. Well, we are lucky to be participating, and I want to thank you for that. Okay, so I think that's all the questions, and we chatted about it earlier. No need to go through the list right now, but I think you're talking to I have 6 different VC firms right now about filling out this current round, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. So we're speaking to pretty much all of the Bitcoiner investors that are focused on Bitcoin and supporting companies in this space. So we're hoping to close this round out with just Bitcoiners. But yeah, speaking to some other investors from some traditional VCs as well.
Okay, well, we will have to be updated as these come in. Okay, Tom, thank you very much, man. This has been great, and looking forward to getting involved and helping you out.
Thanks a lot, Mike. This was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
All right, bye.
Take care.